Hi, it's Chris, and this is my review of tonight's reading of reading the Bible in a year. And tonight we read through 2Kings, chapter 13, and part of 12. Went backwards into 12, but I think we pretty much finished 13, and then we also got into part of 2Chronicles, chapter 24. Again, this lays out the. If you're following God, He's got your blessing. He had the blessing of Israel for those kings that trusted in Him and sought Him and sought to follow and learn His ways and do His ways. And then we see where the people had abandoned the Lord, the God of Israel, the God of their ancestors, so judgment was carried out against Joash the king. Joash started out strong, and then he fell away, and it cost him dearly. And then we have King Jehoash, who is known for not turning from the sins not leading the people right, but he does go to Elisha as he's on his deathbed. And that's the interesting story that I struggle with here. And trying to understand it, and it's something I think ask God for this and ask for understanding here, because the story goes here it is. King Jehoash of Israel visited Israel in his last illness and wept. My father, I see chariots and charioteers of Israel," he cried. And Elisha told him to go get some bow and some arrows, and he did, and open the eastern window and shoot. So he shot. Elijah proclaimed, "This is the Lord's arrow, an arrow of victory over Aram for you. Will completely conquer the Arameans and Aphek." And then he said, "Now pick up the other arrows and strike them against the ground." So the king picked them up and struck the ground 3 times. But the man of God was angry with him. "You should have struck the ground 5 or 6 times, he exclaimed. "Then you would have beaten Aram until it was entirely destroyed. Now you will be victorious only 3 times. Then Elisha was buried. And then we get on in 2 Kings to see that, he beat him 3 times. And so that's interesting as to why was there no instruction to do more? What was the test? It sounded like he failed the test, that he should have beat the ground a bunch of times with the arrows, 5 or 6 times. Where do you stop? When do you stop? And what's the indication that was the test? Why is that there like that? What are we to be learning in that? That's the question I have, and the question to seek, and the question to ponder. But then we see also just right here in the same group that once some Israelites were burying a man. This is verse 21 in 2 Kings chapter 13. Once some Israelites were burying a man, they spied a band of raiders. So they hastily threw the corpse of that man into the tomb of Elijah and fled. But as soon as the body touched Elisha's bones, the dead man revived and jumped to his feet. There's a song about that, or that includes that. Just ask the man who was thrown on the bones of Elijah if there's anything that he can't do. I'm a terrible singer, but you get it. It's there. It's in there. It's the Bible. Good stuff.